Okay, welcome to another Let's Play. I actually decided to give Banished a little break and to start something new. I'll still upload Banished, I'll still play Banished, I'll also still play Towns and all that stuff. But I decided to give it a little break and try something I haven't done in a while, which is turn-based strategy. As you can see here, we're going to play the Battle for Wesnoth, or Wesnoth, I'm not sure how that is pronounced. It's not an indie game, but it's a free game. The source code is completely freeware. You can download it, you can change it, you can work on the game if you want, if you're good at that. You can make campaigns if you want. There are lots of user-made campaigns, I'll show you that here. There are a bunch of campaigns in the game itself. Some of those were actually user-made and kind of made it into the canon. I think this one was... actually, I'm not sure. This one was a bit difficult. I think that one was definitely a user-made campaign. This one might be as well. And I think I downloaded this one in one of the earlier versions as well. So you can see here that there's a lot of stuff going on. I think the community is still active. I think this is version 1.12 something, if memory serves. Is that shown somewhere? It doesn't matter. Oh, there it is, version 1.12.2. So I think I've played it from 1.6 something, and I like the game. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to forgo the, or maybe I will. No, I'll forgo the tutorial. I'll show you what the game's about in the campaigns. And with that being said, let's actually dive right on. Yeah, this is the add-ons thing. We'll just connect to that quickly and see if we can find something nice. So you get this little loading screen here. It lets you download and install all kinds of stuff, new eras, which I think is mostly means some units and maybe some new options. I don't know. You have eras, you have lots of campaigns. Most of those are really fun, especially if you pick the bigger ones, 30 megabytes and so on. You usually had a there it is, description. You can get a bit of a stuff here, a bit of information. Sometimes you see the story is kind of boring or not that great, so you can just ignore that campaign. Sometimes you do need some other things here. Usually it downloads those as well. For example, there is a huge campaign about the I don't know what it's about. It's this Bad Moon Rising here. It's actually 3 campaigns. The other 2 parts are somewhere else here in this list. They're quite nice, and they need, for example, this archaic stuff. I'm not going to download anything here because it will reset or restart the game, and I don't want to do that just yet. Because those things usually mess up the recording, and I really don't feel like doing that. Okay, let's go with campaign. I will probably go about with those in this order. I think it's not necessarily a storyline order. So I think the story is a bit parallel. I mean, there is some sort of an overarching story, which is kind of the official canon, which we are going to play, for example, here. And the rest is kind of happening. Something is happening before that. I think this is kind of the main storyline campaign. For example, this is a bit before that. It's kind of a learning campaign as well. This is, I think, after that. This is somewhere before it. Or maybe that's... I think that's before the Heir to the Throne. And yeah, this is all a bit weird, but it's kind of fun to play. And this is like the pre-story of Wesnoth, but I don't think it is... well, there is much of a point in going like in chronological order here. So let's just start with the first one, because I know it's fun. It's a fairly long campaign. I'm not entirely sure if I'll do all of those levels. Maybe I'll do all of those campaigns, I don't know. I will do them, but I'm not sure if I'm going to record them all. And yeah, let's just dive in. I will set it to the normal difficulty, because I don't feel like going mad here. It is possible, although some of the especially user-made campaigns are a bit unbalanced because they are not yet finished or something. So they can be unbalanced for other levels than the one that they were made on or made for. So sometimes the highest difficulty setting is really, really, really difficult. Anyway, let's play as a hero, and I'll show you what the game is all about. As I said, it's a turn-based game about loading screens. No, not quite. But it's a turn-based game. I think it's also hex-based, if memory serves. I haven't played it in a while, but I felt like doing that. Okay, there's a bit of a campaign intro here. In the 28th year of the reign of Garrod II, King of Wesnoth, the kingdom was plunged into a bitter war with the orcs of the north. Okay. The northern host encamped at Galkadar by the fort of Abbas, and the king led his forces to meet them. Splitting his army in two, he led one half, while his son, the Crown Prince Eldred, led the other. Eldred was a brave and courageous warrior, able to lead his soldiers well. Unfortunately for Garrod, his son was also ambitious and treacherous. In the heat of battle, Eldred's men turned on the king, and so Garrod was slain in battle that day, along with his brother and all his sons but Eldred. Oh, he did do a good job there. Garrod's queen, Ashevere, looked on it with glee, having come to watch the battle from a nearby hill. The rule of her son would surely satisfy her lust for power far better than her husband's had. In exchange for tribute, the warlord of the north happily made peace with Eldred, who proclaimed himself king and led his army south towards Weldin, which I think is the capital of Wesnoth, by the way. But Garrod's archmage, Delphador, had escaped the battle and, riding with haste, reached Weldin first. He mustered a force of loyalists to fight Eldred and avenge the king's death. The loyalist army marched north to meet Eldred. Eldred made war upon Delphador and his forces with his mother's advice ringing in his ears. Fight no one great or small except the old mage, whose head should be severed from his shoulders. That's a very good advice. Always go for the mage. And Eldred did indeed meet Delphador face to face in battle, in the hinterlands near Tath. Sword clashed against staff, as the wise old mage fought the brash young warrior. In the end, Delphador's men were defeated and routed, but Ashevere found her son's lifeless body fixed to the ground by the great mage's staff. Ashevere herself then took command of the army and led it back to Weldin. Knowing that the king's young nephews were next in line to the throne, she ordered them all killed and declared herself Queen of Wesnoth. Soon after news of Ashevere's order reaches Delphador, he secretly entered the palace and stole away Conrad, the youngest of Garrod's nephews, thereby saving him from death. Yes, huge eyes. Fleeing to the Aethan Wood beyond the southwestern border of Wesnoth, Delphador raised the child Conrad under the protection of the elves, watching sadly as Ashevere's reign of terror over the land began. Okay, so this is the level name. The elves besiege. It's usually... oh, right, there it is. It shows you where you are on this map, which is kinda nice. So all the intros and sequences, or most of them, are done like that. I will try to reenact them. I'm not a voice actor by all means, so bear with me here. And let's go in here. There we go. 16 years into her rule, Ashevere turned her attention to the wood elves living in the great forest southwest of Wesnoth, whom she despised. Orcish mercenaries were hired and dispatched to bring about their ruin. Okay. Conrad, Master Delphador, Look, there are orcs coming from all directions. What shall we do? There are too many to fight. Far too many. We must escape. But to where? This is the only home we have. What about the elves? We will fight them, but you must escape, Conrad. It is imperative that you escape. We will go north. Perhaps we can reach the Isle of Alduin. If we make it there, surely we will be safe, Conrad. We must recruit some elves to help us, and then you must make it to the signpost in the northwest. I will protect you. Very well, let us hurry. He's a cheery young lad. Attack the elves, my grunts, and take their villages. Let us claim this land for the Queen. Oh, there's more. Haha, we will rip the filthy elves to pieces. Yeah, we will. Let them come. We will fight them with all we have. Be careful, Conrad. Oh, that's a girl. I won't do girl voices here. Guard him well, Delphador. Do not spend your life here, Chantal. Someone must warn the northern elves that the war we so long feared has begun. Could we get into the game now? Yeah, this is my objective. I don't know why that played twice. Okay, so this is the victory conditions. I have to move Conrad to the signpost, and of course the level is lost if he dies, if Delphador dies, or if the turn runs out. Those are some special rules. You usually get a bonus for finishing early, so I don't have to wait until turn 14 to get this done. I will get 40% of my gold carried over to the next scenario. Let's look at that. So first off, we have the interface actually looks kind of nice now, although I'm not sure why that is. That's new. Okay, that's some mini-map options. You have a mini-map, as you can see here. There is Fog of War, which is a thing I don't particularly like, but it's okay. You have the scenario. As you can see here, there are a bunch of stats for my units. For example, Conrad here is a fighter who has a description: young and brash, fighters attack with a sword and are vulnerable to more seasoned enemies. However, they have the potential to become great warriors one day. You have his weapon. So this is just a flaw text. Actually, let me show you that unit description. They advance to commander, which I haven't seen yet. So it's kind of like a Pokédex. Once you see has some background info here, I'm not going to read all that out. You have this stuff, and you will unlock new information as you see those things. Like, as I encounter something, I will unlock the information on it, which is kind of nice. Okay, so there are 6 periods of the day. Dawn, oh, there we go. Dawn, morning, afternoon, dusk. Morning and afternoon are the daylight phases, and 2 night watches, as well as, of course, dawn, which is what we're doing now. This has impact on the game, as lawful units will deal more damage during the day and less damage during the night. What's the English word here? Okay, we don't have a night unit. There are neutral units which don't have either, so they neither have the benefits or the drawbacks. And of course there are night units which I kind of forgot what they're called in English now, so we'll look at that once we have some orcs on the map. Instead of that, you have, of course, your health. If this reaches 0, your unit dies. You have experience, which is a very, very important aspect of the game. Your units level up. Most units, if not all, have at least 2 levels of advancements. Your leaders and campaign central units usually have 3 to 4 levels. Some even have 5. It depends on the campaign and the unit. And then we have this defense, which is affected by the terrain. If I click him here, I can see what defense bonus I will gain from that terrain. So of course he will have a very poor defense if he's standing in a river or in the open field, and a better one if he's standing in a forest or in a fortress. Instead of that, we have this name, I guess, the level of the creature. This is it has some impact later on. The race, which is not that important. It usually affects like if something is lawful or not, or neutral, but it's really not a big impact on the game. Mostly defines what race you're playing as, basically. And then you have this, which is important again. You have the attack, which is 6/3, which means he has a chance to deal 6 base damage with 3 attacks, so I can do up to 18 damage. It is a melee attack, which means I have to be adjacent. Actually, you always have to be adjacent to the enemy, but it is a melee attack, which has and it's a blade attack, which affects the various resistances here. For example, I have a resistance against arcane attacks and pretty much no armor or anything, so I have a very poor resistance against everything else. Okay, so moving people around is pretty easy. I just click them, I click where I want them to move. Let's actually... Okay, there is one orc here, one orc there. Those are orcish warlords, that kind of sucks. And one over here. Okay, I need to go over there. Oh wow, there's an elvish fairy here. Those are pretty awesome. Okay, there are some other things on the map. You have the turn thing. You have some menu buttons for saving and statistics and stuff. You have your gold, which is also very, very, very important, because gold is the only real resource you have in the game. You have villages, which is merely informative, because it just tells you how much stuff you basically have, or which part of the map's villages you hold, although this is usually not too important. Your units, which are quite important as well. Your spending, your upkeep. Generally, each level unit has upkeep, so a level 1 unit costs you 1 gold, a level 2 unit costs you 2 gold a turn, and so on. Right now it's 0 because we have 3 villages, and each village supports 1 unit for you. And you have your income, which is +5 right now, which is mostly the setting here. I don't know if I can see which if this will increase if I have I'll see how that goes if I capture another village. You capture villages by just moving onto them. Villages will replenish your health by 8 points a turn if memory serves. So it is quite important to take those. Okay, let's recruit some units here. Also, you have the time, so I'm recording this shortly after 4 p.m. I like that because it kind of tells you how long you've been playing. And now we'll recruit. I'm using you can right click your guy here. You can only recruit if your leader is standing in a keep, as opposed to one of those castle tiles, and you can only recruit onto those castle tiles. I can select the field I want to recruit on if I do this. If I right click on the spots, I can also just hit Ctrl R and he will auto fill them, I think starting from the closest to the furthest. Sometimes it is important because you might want to have a durable unit where you can where it can protect you. For example, if I have an attacker here, I wouldn't probably want to have an elvish shaman over here because they're kind of squishy, and a warrior might do better. But right now we don't have anything nearby, so I'll just recruit a bit. I'll recruit some scouts, maybe 1, a shaman, some archers, a fighter, and another fighter. Okay, and I will end my turn. Your units can't move there. So, in the first turn they can't move anywhere. Your leader can move, your loyals can move, but that's about it. Okay, how am I going to do this? we'll go here and then cross the forest. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Let's move out. Delphador, go there. And we'll end our turn, and I'll also end this recording here because I think I've hit my 15-minute mark, and we'll see how that goes. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna check how the video turned out, and then we'll come back to Battle for Wesnoth. I really enjoy this game, and I hope you will like this series as well. I will work on my voice acting, I promise. See you then, bye.